Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for joining us. My name is Chris McCool from Sultans of String, and welcome to Backstage, supported by Canada Council for the Arts and the OAC. This is our 8th in our 12-part series, every Friday at noon EST, broadcasting live here from Burlington, where we would like to acknowledge and thank the many First Nations and the Métis, from the Anishinaabe to the Haudenosaunee to the Huron-Wendat, to the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for allowing us to occupy their lands on which we feel blessed to work and live and play. Now, here on Backstage, we're collaborating with special guests from our Refuge and upcoming Sanctuary albums, many of whom are newcomers to this land, Indigenous artists, and global talents who have been ambassadors for peace. We're super excited to share the success of those who make their journey here and bring with them their extraordinary talents. That countdown song was with Kevin La Liberté here on guitar, Drew Burson on bass, and our very special guest we're going to introduce in just a moment, Anh Phung. So yes, in just a moment we're going to get to chat with Anh, play some music. But first of all, if you have any questions for us, I just wanted to mention, you can leave it in the Facebook page here, facebook.com/sultansofstring. That's where we're looking at the comments. Hello, Cow, and hello, Nicole. So great to see you. Bonjour de Montréal. And please let us know in the chat where you're watching from. And while you're there, please hit that follow button to follow us on Facebook. And if you're watching this in repeat on YouTube, feel free to hit subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know when we're playing again, when we're going live. But now it is that special time. Anh Phung, she's a virtuoso flute player living in Toronto, Ontario. She's done it all. She's been a soloist with L'Orchestre Symphonique de Québec. She's played in Chicago's Millennium Park. She's played at Osheaga Festival in Montreal with electropop band Propofol. She's played traditional Swedish polkas in Copenhagen. She's won a ton of awards throughout her career. She's taken first place at the Canadian Music Competition in the Galaxy Rising Star Award for 2 consecutive years at Music Fest Canada. Leader of prog rock tribute band Sultans, performance art act Hairbrain, plays and tours these days with Twisted Pine. Welcome to the Zoom room, Anh Phung.
Hi.
Whoa, that's quite the bio you got to get through. You're just, you're so versatile and you're so all over the place. It's amazing.
Thanks.
And the stuff you do on flute, it's mind-blowing. It's earth-shattering. It's mind-bending. It's genre-busting. So I would love to hear a little bit more about how you came to play the flute the way you did. Like, what were your influences that transformed you from, I'm guessing now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but most kids when they're young, they're playing like classical, if they're on flute, they're playing classical music. But you do a whole other thing with it. How did you arrive where you are?
So I took a little, I guess my journey was very windy. You're right, I did start as a classical musician, and growing up, I loved classical music, but I also had interests elsewhere. I wanted to experiment. So there were probably a number of milestones in my life. One of them being around middle school, I discovered Led Zeppelin on TV at night.
Excellent.
My teacher let me join the jazz band, which at the time, there wasn't really flute players in that band. So, but I really wanted to do it. And concert band, because I actually started flute when I was 4. So concert band was not challenging enough. So they were like, oh, why don't you try jazz band, which felt like a big challenge because
Excellent.
I hadn't really improvised prior to that, because growing up playing classical music, we weren't really doing that. So that was kind of another milestone. And then when I went to McGill, I got asked to be in an Irish, kind of like a Irish Canadian pub band.
Excellent.
So that's when I got into traditional music, and I was also playing in a blues band at the time and an electro pop rock band where I was playing synth. So that time of my life, I was kind of trying different genres, and yeah, so that's kind of the short version of the story.
And you're such an amazing player. I know that you can dive into any of those genres and play them so prodigiously. And I hope that there are some young flute players watching today, because I noticed that when you loaded in here this morning, you brought, let's see if I've got it on his own camera. Yes, here is Anne's pedal board that she's actually playing her flute through. And I'm going to put you on the spot here. I was trolling the internet and I saw you do this Steve Vai piece.
Yeah.
Would you play that for us today? Because I would love for people to hear what you're able to do, both with the flute technically and also how you incorporate effects into your performance. And hello, Craig Burston, watching from sunny North Vancouver, and Janine and Mark. Great to see you here. Yeah, so putting you on the spot. But,
sure.
Okay, I'm going to switch over to that pedal board cam.
All right, so this is Steve Vai's Ballerina 1224. And
It's played by Anh Phung.
Played by me, but originally written and played by Steve.
And maybe just move your mic to the side while you're...
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's I just relearned this last night.
It's awesome. It's beautiful. Like it's so cool to hear with those effects. And I don't know another flute player who's doing what you're doing. So congratulations.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I was trying to do it by memory, but
it's fantastic.
Obviously,
it's
fantastic. I needed the music in front of me.
Amazing. Tell me about what are some of the influences you've had towards going the route of using electronics? Like, are you picking this up from guitar players you know, or are there other woodwind players, or are you just like, you go to Long McQuaid, see what they got, try things out? I know it's hard because usually pedals are more geared towards the electric guitar player.
Yeah, so I actually, oh, sorry, let me turn this off. I actually wanted to get into pedals when I was in high school because I was really into Steve Vai and a lot of other bands who would use pedals. Steve Vai was like a huge one for me. But I couldn't really figure it out at the time, and maybe technology wasn't, well, maybe it would have worked, but I just didn't have the resources to do it. So I just kind of gave up on that venture, but I was always into guitar music. And at some point, maybe it was actually quite recent, I joined the band I play with now, Twisted Pine, and they were using pedals. And I thought to myself, well, I guess I'm like the only one not using it. So I kind of became obsessed and was trying out different pedals, and I just basically was checking out individual pedals. Like I wasn't going for a specific sound, which I think maybe is good, since I think you kind of create your own sound when you just pick and choose the things you want.
Right. Well, Mark's asking what that red pedal is.
Oh, this one is the whammy pedal, which is a pitch shifter. So let me demonstrate. So, okay, the reason I use this in that tune, that Steve Vai tune, is because I don't have the range of a guitar. So I need to be able to switch octaves sometimes. So here's me playing the same note. And there's a lot of different settings on here. So if you wanted to go like a third or something. You know, so there's a lot of things you could do with that one. It's actually really fun, and it's really easy to use. There isn't, you know, like
cool.
this other guy's like another pitch shifter, but because it just has so many settings.
And what about the ecosystem?
The ecosystem is a delay pedal, which it's quite versatile. It's actually, you can use it as 2 delays. Potentially, if you wanted to. So you can use it as a single delay, or you can you can link 2 together and choose like 2 separate delays, and they can either, you know, you can use them together, or one delay can respond to the other delay, or you can ping pong them.
Very cool.
So
can we hear just what that sounds like for the listeners at home?
So
the delay unit.
So right now I have a delay and reverb on. So the more I have it connected to this expression pedal. So here's my clean sound.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Normally, when you're watching a performance, you don't get to see people's feet up close, so that's nice to check out what you're doing. Tell me, what's the craziest gig you've ever done? Because I know you've done some pretty wild tours all over the world, playing with different bands and different festivals.
Yeah, there's been some weird ones, probably. I should have a better answer to this, because I don't know if this, maybe this is a bit TMI. Maybe it's not TMI, but I did play a party one time where it was Eyes Wide Shut themed, and people were kind of, it was kind of what you would see in the movie Eyes Wide Shut.
Gosh.
So if you saw Eyes Wide Shut, that was kind of the vibe in that secret house. And so I was dressed up too, and I had a mask, and you know, people were in lingerie, and you know, it was,
that's pretty wild,
interesting, and they kind of modeled it after the movie. It was interesting.
That was in Toronto?
Outside, it wasn't in Toronto. It was somewhere in Ontario, and it was
undisclosed location.
Undisclosed, like, you know, it's just like the movie. You don't really know where it is. Yeah. And it was kind of it had like very creepy vibes, like the same way the movie did.
So now I'm curious, like, what style of music were you playing? Probably not cocktail jazz.
It was actually kind of improvised, like new music, like avant-garde, very improvised, and just no tonal center.
Sophie's asking for more details.
Yeah, I know, she would.
Oh, well, that's great. Why don't we play another song?
Sure.
We were so blessed to have Anne perform with us on our Refuge album, and it's a song called Weather Update. And through the miracle of the internet, we're going to bring Chendy, our drummer, in, and let's give this a whirl. weather update, written by Drew Burston over here. that jazzy flute playing. Tell me, Anne, have there been any blessings from this period of COVID? What have you done over the last 20 months that you might not have been able to do it? Did you learn any new skills? Or I always like to find out what other musicians have been up to.
Yeah, so actually part of this, when we were in lockdown, the pedal thing was getting pretty serious. Like, I just kept buying shit. Well, you know how it is. It's like, you don't...
Yeah.
When you're just sitting there and browsing the internet, it's like, oh, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this.
Yeah.
And then I also got this drum sequencer, which is what you heard at the beginning during the countdown.
Right.
That was also part of this whole experience of being locked away, because I never would have even thought about getting something like this in the past. But I was getting pretty antsy.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It sounds really cool.
I needed to jam with something or someone or something, so I could only have something. So, what else happened? Well, those were probably the blessings, because I actually, maybe the worst thing that happened during the pandemic was I got an arm injury, so I couldn't actually do too much stuff, which was good too, because I could just sit there and make beats. So I made quite a few, and maybe I should put out like a mixtape or something. I don't know, but yeah.
So what you're doing, you're taking samples, like small bits of pre-recorded or like music that's already been recorded, and then you kind of create beats and vibes with it. Can you play 4 bars just so that
sure.
our listeners here know what we're discussing?
So basically, you can take stuff from music that exists, or you can create your own stuff, or you can take like sounds from the street, or like it's a sampler, so you basically just sample anything. You could sample like one note, so this one I'm gonna play. I'll just show you an example. This is Tamar, who
we love Tamar.
Who
She's
you
gonna
guys
be on,
know, right?
She'll be on in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so this is Tamar's sample, so it won't sound exactly like her track, but I stole this from her, so thanks, Tamar.
It does sound like Tamar.
So
that's very cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of the vibe.
Right. So now, do you have to be like, I know rappers get in trouble from sampling something and then it ends up on a commercial release and then they get sued for $1 million. So like when you're sampling something, I mean, that wouldn't happen with an indie artist that's our friend or whatever, but like is there special stuff that you ask permission, or
I think there's like certain rules and regulations around sampling, so you can take a certain amount, and also it gets quite you can mess with it so it doesn't sound like the original recording. I also still need to learn all the stuff surrounding that, but I do know that sampling is considered like an art form, and there are rules around it.
Yeah.
So
keep exploring that for a couple of more months, and then I'm going to have a consult with you. Because I'd love to learn that stuff. Mm-hmm. That's great.
It's cool.
Let's play another song now. This is,
sure.
We were thinking we would play this song called The Road to Kafarmishki, and it's a song that's inspired by my journey to my ancestral village with my father, and it's got kind of an Arabic rhythm, so if anyone out there at home would like to belly dance, feel free. Here we go, Road to Kafarmishki. To hear you play along with that melody. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never had that before. And yeah, Craig signing off for the moment, but that's true. You can catch it in repeat on our Facebook channel here and also on YouTube once I get around to uploading them. So we have just a couple of announcements to make. First of all, we've got some in-person shows coming up that we want to tell you about. November 6th, that's next Saturday in Chatham with special guest Saskia Tomkins, who's on the show a few weeks ago playing the nickel harpa. We've got shows in Collingwood, possibly London, definitely in Ottawa doing a Christmas show. Tickets almost on sale for that. And we're especially excited about a show in November 13th in St. Catharines. It's the most unbelievable in-person show. That's good placement there. Ever. It's a double CD release of Refuge and Sanctuary albums with Robi Botos, Tamar Ilana, Donné Roberts, Leen Hamo, Juan Carlos, Medrano, Rosendo Leon, Walid Abdul Hamid, Ifar Mansour, Duke Redbird, Edmar Castaneda, and more. And so that's November 13th. I believe we might be live streaming it as well. We'll find out. And there's a special SOS VIP discount ticket thing that you can use that you know because you've been watching Backstage here. And we put the link for that in the comments section there of the video. And we have a few people that we would like to thank here. Thanks to all our musical collaborators, especially Anh Phung. On tech, we've got John, Guillermo, Jake, Adrian, Sam, Ed, Micah, our admin team of Kevin, Lisa, Dave, Tanya, Christine, Rob, Eric, Max, our amazing distributors, Fontana, CEN, Proper, Rick and Marianne Chester, Canada Council for the Arts for supporting this series, Ontario Arts Council for helping us build this Zoom room, and most importantly, all of you for tuning in, which is really awesome. And next week, we have Donné Roberts and Yukiko Tsutsui right here in the Zoom room. We're super duper looking forward to this. And in fact, hold on guys, I'm gonna show you just a little bit of a sample of what that's gonna sound like. They're gonna be with us November 13th in St. Catharines, and right here in the Zoom room next week, this is what it sounds like. All right. So yeah, super duper looking forward to that. That's this coming Friday. And you guys want to play us out here? A little bit of cool music. Nice to see you, Eduardo. And Martin. So Martin Springett has a new album out. Check him out on Facebook. Kevin produced his album, I think. And I know Kevin and Drew play some pretty amazing instrumentation on that. Nice to see you, Nicole and Mary Lou and Narm and Sophie and Mark and everyone else. Nicole, merci pour nous joindre ici. And yeah, Donné Roberts tuning in. Donné, you're going to be standing right where Anne is next week. So everybody, support Anne, buy her music, hire her, amplify her voice. And hopefully she's got a solo album coming out soon, incorporating beats and cool things like that. Always hard to know when to push the end button. See you later.